This TBS Sports presentation of the Winston Western 500 is brought to you by Dodge, setting new standards of performance. And by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Champion, makers of Copper Plus, America's best spark plug.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Dispain. We're at the STP Pit Communications Center, and it is a momentous occasion at Riverside International Raceway. Through 28 races, the Winston Cup title contenders have played it close to the vest. They've worried about finishing. They've emphasized consistency because that's what it takes to win the championship. Now, Dale Earnhardt has locked up the title. 42 drivers are ready to pull out the stops and try to win this season's finale. They have 42 individual motivations, but one they all share, and that is money. Positions 2 through 20 in the final series standings will be determined right here today. The point fund bonuses for that, $1.1 million. Add $370,000 in race prize money, plus all the other bonuses still up for grabs. And the total on the line here today, $1,842,500. You're about to watch the richest stock car race ever run. Now, let's meet the guys who are going to start at the front of the pay window line. Standing by with our pole sitter, 50-year veteran motorsports reporter, here's Chris Economaki.
Well, Tim Richmond, first of all, congratulations on that brilliant qualifying run. We know, of course, you came here to win the race, but what are your other objectives in this 500 today?
Yeah, the main objective, Chris, is to try to finish ahead of that car sitting right over there. About 5 positions would be worth about $200,000 to me. So we're trying to move from third in the point standings to second, and a win would sure help in that category.
We'll be watching, and good luck to you. Now across pit road to my colleague Jerry Garrett with a man in that car.
Well, it's Darrell Waltrip, and Darrell's job is to keep Tim out of second place in the points and first place in the race. And Darrell, do you think Tim's lap was a fluke, or do you think you can beat him?
Well, he's a good road racer, and I beat him here in June, and it was close just by a car length. It'll be about that way this time. That's the way it goes.
Been a very emotional scene down here in the pits as Darrell bids farewell to his crew on his last ride for Junior Johnson. And now the man who will call all the action today in the booth, our Ken Squire.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Working with us today is Phil Parsons. And Phil, I think the big story here is the breaking up of a lot of great racing alliances. The Junior Johnson team with Neil Bonnet and Darrell Waltrip, this is their last race. The Billy Hagan team with Terry Labonte that won the national championship the last time they fly their colors. And several other teams will see the last time out here today.
I think so, Ken. The big thing is that these guys, irregardless of the money, want to go out as winners.
And we'll find out who's going to win before this afternoon is over. Right now, let's take a look at the course over which they'll participate.
Riverside is a 2.62-mile, 8-turn road course. You start with the start-finish line. It's a third gear. You're in third gear. Just after the start-finish line, you change into fourth gear for turn 1. Turn 1 is a fast left-hander, about 130-40 miles an hour. You have a little short shoot down to turn 2, which starts the S's. Turn 2 is a right-hander, about 120 miles an hour. The S's you take wide open. You try to straighten them out and take them wide open at about 130-40 miles an hour. You then go to turn 6, which is an uphill right-hander, very slow corner, about 50-60 miles an hour. You have a little short shoot down to turn 8. Turn 8 is off-camber right-hander, extremely difficult corner to negotiate, very slow, about 30 miles an hour. Then you go down the long back straightaway. You're in second gear there. You change to third gear and fourth gear through the kink, about 170 miles an hour to the long sweeping turn 9. Turn 9 is a very difficult corner to negotiate, very long, and you're back to the start-finish line.
And now let's take a look at the starting lineup for this 26th annual Winston Western 500 as the field moves around turn number 6. In row number 1, Tim Richmond, the 1982 winner. And alongside will be Darrell Waltrip, the winner in 1979 and 1980. For row number 2, Ricky Rudd, the 1985 winner in the Bud Moore Ford, and Jeff Bodine, the 1984 winner in the Hendrick car. Row 3, Bill Elliott, who won this race in 1983, and Terry Labonte, the 84 Winston Cup champion. For row 4, it's a 2-time winner. Richard Petty is there, and the 1986 national champion of the Richard Childress Chevrolet, that's Dale Earnhardt. Row 5 is Bobby Allison, a 3-time winner of the event, and alongside is Joe Ruttman in his Buick. Row 6 will be Rusty Wallace, and beside Wallace comes Neil Bonnet. Going to row number 7 for today's race, Morgan Shepherd is there. And beside him comes Mark Martin, who again has qualified well. In row 8 is Derek Cope from Washington and Kyle Petty. Row 9 is Jim Bound of Salem, Oregon, the brother of Chuck Bound and Bobby Hillen Jr. In row 10, it'll be Dave Marcus and Terry Petrus from Bakersfield, California. Row 11 is Jim Robinson and Mike Waltrip. Row 12, Harry Gant and Rick Wilson. Row 13, the 3-time Indy winner, Al Unser and Benny Parsons of Bellevue, North Carolina. Row 14, Ken Schrader and Ruben Garcia are there. Row 15 for today's race, Buddy Baker in his Oldsmobile and Herschel McGriff, who leads in the Winston West Standards. In row 16, Bill Schmidt, former Winston West champion, and Jimmy Means from Alabama. Row 17 is Glenn Steurer and Buddy Arrington. Row 18, the veteran road racer and teacher, Jim Fitzgerald from the Atlanta, Georgia area, and George Fulmer is back, the old Can-Am champion, ready to go. Row 19, Chad Little of Spokane and Ted Kennedy of California. Row 20 today is Rick McRae and Ron Esau of Lakeside, California. And row number 21, provisional starters, are Alan Kulwicki from Wisconsin in his Ford and Johnny Krebs of Rockland, California in an Oldsmobile. 42 starters today, battling for $404,000, 311 7/10 of a mile, 119 laps, 60 laps will mark the halfway point of this race on this 2.62-mile course. They're halfway around before we get down to a start today and get this last race, the 29th and final event, underway here at Riverside, California. Field getting ready to move to turn number 8 now. Tim Richmond's qualifying lap of 118.247 earned him the pole and broke the 7-race streak dominated by Darrell Waltrip and Terry Labonte in qualifying here at Riverside. And the old record of Waltrip's, 116.782. He broke his own record, that record dating back to 1983, and then 1 hour later, Richmond really plastered one of the record books. Tim Richmond winning $30,000, the Bush Pole Award for 86. He won 8 poles in the season. He tied his teammate Jeff Bodine. He had better second-place finishes to put it all together. Pace car